Multi-million rand asbestos roof removal case is scheduled to sit this morning, with the trial itself set for the next 6 weeks. 4 of the 18 accused have pleaded not guilty to fraud, corruption and money laundering in the High Court that's sitting in Bloemfontein. The case, which actually dates back to 2014, relates to a 255 million rand asbestos roof removal contract, which was allegedly irregularly awarded to businessman Edwin Sodiwho, who himself has pleaded not guilty. SABC News reporter Makgala Masiteng is part of our team watching developments, and she joins us now live once again from inside the courtroom in Bloemfontein. And Makgala, yesterday we painstakingly listened to at least these 4 of the 18 accused have their charges read to them and then plead their case.
Indeed, Ayanda, as you've said, today is day 2, where we will continue, of course, to hear those accused pleading to those charges that they are facing. As you've indicated, yesterday 4 accused did plead, of course, with Edwin Sodiwho as accused 3, as well as representing his company as accused 4. 4 of them pleading not guilty to all those counts of charges. Of course, we've seen that list is very long. In fact, one of the lawyers, a lawyer of Edwin Sodiwho, Lawrence Hodes, he did indicate yesterday that the docket keeps changing and they keep adding onto those charges. They went as far as more than 90 charges that had to be read to the accused, and they had to individually plead to all those charges. So today we are expecting that, of course, they will continue with the pleading. Today is accused 5 that they are going to be starting with, and we understand that is the representative rather of the company Diamond Hill Trading. You would remember that the sole director of that company was killed years ago, but of course there will be a representative for that company, because that company, Diamond Hill Trading, as well as Sodiwho's company, were the 2 companies that were awarded the contract back in 2014 in October, of course, to deal with the issue of removing asbestos roofs in the province. But they then had to subcontract some of the other companies. Hence, accused 5 is Diamond Hill Trading Company, but accused 6 as well is another company that was subcontracted, still represented by one of the Mbambanis. In fact, yesterday the NPA did indicate that they wanted the court to deal with the fact that Michelle Mbambani, who I think is representative of the accused 6, was not present in court. But however, I think that matter will be dealt with today. Of course, we don't know how long the pleading will take, because we are only now on accused 5, and of course there's still a long list where we're going all the way to accused 18, and of course we know that things will start getting interesting when we get to accused 11, who is Thabani Zulu, and then accused 12, Olimla Mlele, and then of course is Magashule being accused 13. We're not sure if we'll be able to get to him today. It will depend on how fast they are able to move in terms of ensuring that all the accused are able to plead to some of those charges that they are facing. Of course, we did get an opportunity yesterday to speak to Ace Magashule. As you know, that in the past he's been complaining, of course, of this case, and also stating that it is politically motivated. It is just to derail him from his political career. We do know that then when he was arrested, of course, being the Secretary General of the ANC then, but now things moved to an extent that now he is actually a leader of a new party act. Actually, we saw some few members who came out to support him yesterday. But when we were talking to him, Ayanda, about how he's feeling, because he's been complaining that he just wants this matter to be dealt with so that he can be able to focus on his political career. He did say that he's quite happy that finally this trial is taking place, and And when responding to some of questions from members of the media, of course, he did say that a lot he will come out from the box. In fact, he was hesitant to speak a lot. He even indicated that his lawyer actually warned him not to say much now that the trial has started. You would remember in the past he would even stand up here in court and address the judge, which is something that is not really familiar. But of course, he did say that a lot will come out when he starts to stand to speak during this trial, even indicating the issues of the fact that this was politically motivated. He says that things were said, of course, in ANC conferences that they should stop him. So those details he's saying, those are some of the things that we will hear during this trial. He even indicated that they might have to call those people who even went to the Zondo Commission to say things about them in terms of their involvement in this contract, because he is still maintaining that he didn't receive any money from anybody, and also the fact that he still maintains that he doesn't understand why he's been charged for oversight. He says that for the department or rather for the asbestos roof removal project, that was handled by the Department of Human Settlement, and that department had its leader, it had its own MEC and HOD, who are then responsible for what was happening there. But he's saying that he's just being he doesn't understand why he's being charged, of course, for oversight. But of course, we will hear today if maybe we get to accused 13 with the long list that we're looking at when he starts to plead on all of those charges, because as I indicated, that the list is long. Actually, it has been amended. Remember, in the past we used to say they are facing counts of more than 70 charges, of course, of fraud, money laundering and corruption. But we've seen yesterday with just accused one, the list of charges going all the way to more than 90 charges that they had to read one by one, and they had to, of course, plead to all of those charges. As I've indicated, we are done with 4. Now we are left with 14, in other words, where they will have to then also plead to those charges. So we'll see how long it goes. As we have said, is day 2 of the asbestos roof removal case that, of course, has been on that roll for almost 5 years since people were arrested back in 2020, and we've seen several or many postponements on this case. But finally, we are here. Of course, this case is expected, or the trial rather, is expected to continue until the 23rd of June. But of course, when we were engaging the spokesperson of the NPA here in the province, he did indicate that, of course, this will be a very long trial, a very tedious work that will have they will have to go through in terms of ensuring that they go through all to prove what they are saying, what they are charging all these 18 accused with. In fact, I've seen that already some of the accused have started arriving, of course, ahead of their day 2 appearance of this trial.
Makgala Masiteng, thanks very much indeed. As you mentioned, if yesterday is anything to go by, you're in for another long day inside court today. Makgala Masiteng, live to us there from the High Court in Bloemfontein.